All right, hello. Welcome to the IPP podcast, Jennifer Coolidge's favorite podcast, because it's so good.
Oh, why's your head so
Why's
big?
your head so big?
She says that in the new Minecraft movie.
I could go for a hot dog.
Dude, if she said that in the Minecraft movie, that'd be so great.
Finding out I could do Jennifer Coolidge was the best moment of my life.
Give me a hot dog.
You look like the 4th of July.
And your family loves it.
I know.
They can't get enough of it.
It's so easy too. It's so easy. One I used to pull out that used to, but I could only say the one phrase was kind of plankton. The Krabby Patty secret formula.
That's
but
pretty good.
It's all right.
That's pretty good though.
It's all right.
The Krabby Patty
Secret formula. Jesus
Christ, this Pokemon. Holy crap.
It's probably a legendary then if you're
It looks like a bird that hatched out of an egg, but it still has the egg.
Togepi?
No. The head of it's pink.
Oh.
Everything else is like black and gray.
Oh, is it
Has a little heart on the
yeah,
egg.
it's like a vulture thing almost.
Kinda, yeah.
Damn it! There's so many names. I know exactly what it is. It's
629.
It's right before Mandibuzz. It's the one before.
It's a dark and a fine.
Can you give me the first letter?
V as in vulture. The eyes are very
Crap. Is it like kind of ugly but also cute?
Kinda,
like cute,
yeah.
ugly?
Yeah.
I know exactly what it is.
You want me to show you?
Yeah. No, I know exactly what it is. Vullaby. Yeah. It's like
Vullaby.
ugly cute. It's like still got an egg in it. And it's right before, I think it's Mandibuzz is the one after it. Mandibuzz is like straight up just a vulture. Mandibuzz might be wrong. Or
Mandibuzz. Oh yeah, you're right. Mandibuzz.
Yes.
Yeah, Mandibuzz is the one that it evolves into.
Yes. So, fun fact about Mandibuzz, that Pokemon historically is a female-only Pokemon.
Oh.
I believe.
How do they procreate?
Don't ask. I believe in either German or Russian, the translation for Mandibuzz is Volgina.
Whoa.
It's Volgina.
Volgina.
Yeah. Anyway, do you want to do pet first or game first?
Pet first. Pet of the week
Pet.
is Fiona.
It's Fiona Bean.
She's I'm waiting for my mom to text me the paragraph, but she's a little. When they first got her, she was the sweetest kitty. I have a picture of her when she's like laying on my chest.
She's still
or
very
laying
sweet.
in my lap. She is very, very sweet. It's just she's scared of everything now. That's all.
She's like she as a cat beautiful. She's a beautiful little girl. She's like a princess. She's the queen of the house.
Oh,
as far,
she is. 100%.
As far as anyone is concerned.
Yeah.
And she knows it too. Like anyone who comes up and pets her. Sorry, Tatsu busts his way in. Anyone comes in and pets her, we're like, oh, you're so pretty.
She's
and
so
she
soft.
takes that. She takes that and she holds it.
She's so soft too.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
Yeah, she's
so
very pretty.
So sweet.
Very pretty.
Very pretty little girl. It is your mom's cat. How old is Fiona?
3 or 4, 5 maybe.
Yeah, so not too old. I
3,
don't.
4, 5, 6, 7.
Do you know if
She's
her?
not 6 or 7.
Do you know if her and Finnegan like get along at all?
I think they do. There's sometimes where Finnegan like sees red, and like Fiona hates that, and she'll get chased around. But no, I think they
tolerate each other,
coexist within a good environment.
Yeah. Tatsu, go away.
It's kind of like how Tatsu and Toby are.
Okay, I was gonna say kind of like. Well, no,
I was thinking Toby and Fiona will love each other.
Yeah,
Tatsu and Finnegan will love each other.
Yeah, they match each other's freak.
Yeah.
Okay, so love you, Fiona. Very, very cute, very fluffy. Got
of the week.
Got quite a doozy for you.
Okay.
So for me, I love music. I think music is one of the best art forms. I think it's musical poetry. Anytime, whatever. I love music. However, music, however long it has existed since the beginning of time, and people were bumping sticks against rocks and what have you,
Bing bong, bing bong.
it's had its scandals. I'm gonna give you 10
Ice Ice Baby.
similar to that. I'm not gonna give you that because you know that it's Vanilla Ice and David Bowie, whatever.
Yeah.
I'm gonna give you 10 scandals that have happened in the music scene. You will know all of these bands. There were some
Is
that
Diddy
were,
on this one?
No, I didn't put Diddy on.
Okay, thank
Because
God.
again, so what basically what I'm gonna give you is I'm gonna give you a scandal, and then I'm gonna give you ABC, which band
Or artist.
or artist was involved in said scandal.
Okay.
Like I said, you will know all, if not most, of these bands. They were, I would say, within the past 50 years that these have happened.
Okay.
So, to start, this band claimed to be bigger than Jesus.
Whoa.
A, Led Zeppelin, B, the Beatles, or C, the Rolling Stones.
Imagine the Beatles say this. That's fucking funny. Yeah, we're bigger than Jesus.
Yeah, we're bigger than Jesus.
That's so funny. I want to say it was the Rolling Stones.
No, it was the Beatles.
It was the Beatles.
It was the Beatles.
Holy shit.
So, hold on, let me turn my...
I mean, to be fair, when they were at their height.
See, that's why they said that. So, in 1966, in an interview with the Evening Standard, the Beatles' John Lennon,
Okay,
suggested that
makes
his band had become, quote, more popular than Jesus. From Complex.com.
That makes a little bit of sense now.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, we're bigger than Jesus,
we're
innit?
bigger than Jesus.
Bigger than Jesus.
Thought he's messing with
I know, he's messing with
bag.
plastic, and it's going to start pissing me off. Oh. Okay, excuse the rustling in the back while he plays with a bag.
Oh,
Okay.
He dropped it.
Second one. Okay, I will say too. You brought up Diddy, and there was stuff with even like with R. Kelly, stuff like that. I
Yeah.
tried my best to
stay away from those
avoid
ones? Okay.
things that were particularly nasty, and I'm gonna take this bag away from him before it starts to piss me off.
I will say while you're doing that, for the Rolling Stones and what was the other one? Led Zeppelin.
Yeah, I'll put Zeppelin up there.
I thought of those as like, okay, they're rock. Usually rock people
Beatles was considered rock.
Yeah,
at its
but they were
time.
like
the definition of rock
they
definitely
evolved.
definitely I mean, between the three, what we imagine rock today is closer to Zeppelin and the Stones than not the Beatles. But the Beatles was considered rock in their time.
They kind of evolved rock in many different ways. Pop rock, if anything, too.
Yeah. So anyway, I bring that up because even all right, whatever. I'm just number
just
two.
Go for it.
This artist kidnapped two separate people while on a cocaine binge.
Two separate people?
Correct. A, Rick James. B, Tom Petty. Or C, MC Hammer.
Oh, damn. That last one. Because I know he's done some shit in the past, but I just don't remember what. I want to say MC Hammer just for the bit.
It was Rick James. So
Damn.
Rick James famously wrote Super Freak. Super Freak. She's super freaky.
Okay.
Rick James.
Gotcha.
So...
Hey.
This story about Rick James.
Nose Candy does crazy things.
Rick James, this story, while horrific, don't get me wrong. Oh my God, it is so funny in its nature at the same time.
It kind of reminds me of, didn't we talk about The Flash like the last episode where he had like a whole cult or some shit?
The Flash?
Remember the actor? Or maybe we watched a video on it.
What? I don't remember this conversation.
You don't remember?
No.
Ezra?
Oh, Ezra Miller.
Yeah.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah.
Horrible person.
Yeah, where he had like his own little cult.
I think so, yeah.
Yeah.
Anyway, Rick James' decline in the early 90s culminated in a pair of cocaine-fueled kidnappings. During the first, James and his girlfriend, Tanya Hijazi, kidnapped and tortured a 25-year-old hostage over 6 days. During the second, committed while he was out on bail for the first, James held a music executive captive for 20 hours. Cocaine is a hell of a drug.
Holy.
Also from Complex.com.
Like I said, Nose Candy is insane.
Yeah.
It makes people do insane shit.
Yeah.
It kills people.
I wish, the whole DARE initiative, in fact, did not work. Sometimes we wish it had, because
What was
like
it,
that
was it Michael Jordan where he's like, stop. Please stop.
He's like, stop. Get help.
Get help.
Yeah.
Remember the one episode or that one movie we went and watched, Maxine, where she had just a whole bucket
Of what?
Of no sugar, and she just opens it and just.
Yeah, she's like she's not like a stripper or like a.
She's part of the porn industry.
Or yeah, she's a performer or something like that. And at her like makeup vanity or whatever, she just opens a lid and
it just has
and she
this
got a little
massive
spoon and she
thing.
just goes and like huffs it and then closes it.
Yeah,
I'm like,
crazy.
damn,
Crazy.
There was a scene like that in Bridgerton as well. The queen, like they had a little like pot for her, and she just got a little dainty little spoon. She goes, and then she's like, anyway, and continues her conversation. Bonkers.
That's nuts.
Bonkers.
That's
Anyway.
so funny.
Number 3. Members of this band refused to bathe for an entire month and created health hazards for everyone around them. A. Motley Crue. B. Def Leppard. C. Twisted Sister.
God damn, all those are good picks. Oh, fuck. They've all done crazy. I'm going to say Motley Crue.
Correct. It is Motley Crue. So, Motley Crue members engaged
They
in
were nuts.
Correct.
Yeah.
Okay. I will say in this era of music, in this, those particular, like, hair, those hairband kind of things, everybody was on drugs. Everybody was fucking. Everybody stank, apparently. Yeah, it was crazy time. Anyway, engaged in a revolting competition they dubbed the, quote, hygiene challenge. Sounds like something from Vine, honestly. Can't believe.
Sounds like something you do nowadays.
That's what I'm saying. Like, okay, for this internet challenge, I'm not going to shower for 6 months. Like, that's kind of what it sounds like. The contest ended abruptly when a groupie became physically ill after intimate contact with the unwashed musicians. Tour staff literally had to spray the millionaire rockers with industrial disinfectant before letting them near reporters.
Industrial.
Yes, industrial. Creating the first and only, quote, smell clause in music journalism history. This is from musicminds.com. Imagine smelling so bad that there is a clause contractually because you stank to high hell on purpose.
Dude,
on purpose.
why?
You just wanted to stank.
Like, why?
I don't know. Ask Motley Crue.
Was
I
it?
have no
There's
idea.
what's the Russian guy? He's like a basically a myth.
Huh?
I forget his name.
Rasputin?
There's a story about him how he never showered because women flocked to the scent of sex.
His musk.
Yeah.
His natural pheromones.
Yeah, and I was just like, that's disgusting.
Oh man. Shelby, my dear friend Shelby, she once went on an entire rabbit hole.
Of Rasputin?
Specifically that there were rumors that he had a 13-inch penis. 13-inch.
Holy shit.
And that either his daughter or his niece
still has it
when he died.
Yeah.
Cut it off from his body.
Yeah.
And has it in a jar, like above her mantle or whatever.
I forgot. I watched something similar to that.
Yeah.
Where they saw a group of, I don't know who, but they went and tried to see if it was real or not.
Right. But people, they don't know for sure if it is. They were like, oh, it could be like an animal or whatever.
Yeah.
Like a horse.
They're like, hey, that's just a horse.
That's just a horse penis. That's not, but like, again, I have no idea.
They're
it's
like,
also Rasputin, so I would totally believe it if that ended up being true.
The girl who has it, she's just like, yeah, but people say that his dick was a horse penis. And it's like, right.
Russia's greatest love machine. I don't know what to tell you. Rah, rah, Rasputin. Am I right? Anyway.
Good song.
Yeah. All right. Number 4. This notorious rocker was arrested for urinating on an Alamo statue. A. Alice Cooper. B. Mick Jagger. Or C. Ozzy Osbourne.
Fuck, dude.
They did not remember the Alamo. That's the number 1 cardinal sin. Forgetting the Alamo.
It was Alice. I'm not going to say it's the second one.
So it's A, Alice Cooper, B, Mick Jagger from the Stones, and C, Ozzy Osbourne, who is Black Sabbath.
Damn. I'll say Ozzy Osbourne.
It was Ozzy, yeah. In 1982, Black Sabbath vocalist Ozzy Osbourne, heavily intoxicated and wearing his wife Sharon's dress, Osbourne urinated on the Alamo cenotaph before authorities arrested him. San Antonio
Good
officials,
old Ozzy.
Yeah, San Antonio officials banned the rocker from performing in the city for nearly a decade following his act.
Wow.
Osborne eventually made amends in 1992 by donating $10,000 to the Daughters of the Republic of Texas, which is the organization responsible for maintaining the Alamo grounds. Also from musicminds.com.
Good for you, Ozzy.
Yeah, I mean,
to make amends with that.
A cool 10 years later, he's like, I'm sorry.
Like, yeah, my bad.
Hey guys, I remembered the Alamo. It was just too late.
He's
so,
like,
here's $10,000.
He's like, I'm sober now, and looking back at it, that was some
what I did, that was fucked up.
That was a little fucked up.
I recognize that was fucked up.
Yeah.
All right. Number 5. This band infamously used fishing poles out of hotel windows to, quote, catch female groupies for sexual encounters.
What the fuck kind of game is this?
A, Aerosmith, B, Pink Floyd, or C, Led Zeppelin. I will admit, this is probably one of my favorites that I've ever done. It was so
How big
fun.
of a fucking fishing rod do you gotta get to
okay,
pick someone
they had on the where I got this from musicminds.com, they had a picture of the band with a fishing pole outside the window.
I want to say this is Aerosmith.
This is Led Zeppelin.
Oh, okay.
Led Zeppelin developed a disturbing pastime at Seattle's Edgewater Hotel that executives worked to conceal. Band members used fishing poles from their hotel windows to catch groupies for sexual encounters. The band's behavior at the Edgewater became so notorious that the hotel later capitalized, offering the Led Zeppelin suite to guests willing to pay premium rates.
Wow.
So I'll show you the picture later, but it's literally just a bunch of guys huddled in a window with a fishing pole.
I like how executives are like, we have to cover this up, and then
because it's crazy. It is. That's a crazy thing to do.
But then there's this picture out there that they're like, hey,
yeah,
you missed one.
I mean, I don't. Yeah. Well, it might have been years later. I don't know. And the picture was of the back of them, so I don't know if it was actually Led Zeppelin or people recreating the picture. I don't know. I'd like to imagine that it was Led Zeppelin.
That it was. It's some groupie.
Some group or somebody in the hotel was just like, oh yeah, I gotta get a picture of this.
This is gonna be historic.
Money.
Dude, that is so funny.
Yeah. I'm fishing for bitches. And that's what they did.
They're like, also, we want you.
Again, that's what I was about to say. If you're in Led Zeppelin, it's not hard.
No.
It's not hard at all. Especially
but it's
at
the fact that they were probably on drugs when this happened.
Oh yeah.
And they were probably like, you know what would be crazy if we told one of our groupies to go buy a fishing rod and we just threw one out to the crowd, and then whichever one landed on, we're like, you're the one, you get to come up.
Room 202, come up, bitch.
Like, oh my god. That's crazy. That is so funny.
Yep. Moving on. Number 6.
This is what drugs do to you, and it's crazy.
Those hair bands back in the day, everybody was on coke. Everyone was on coke. Everybody was fun. It's a. Did you pause it?
No.
Oh no. Okay. Crazy time. Not that doesn't happen anymore. It's just.
You don't hear stories.
You don't hear shit like that. At least not as much.
No.
Yeah. Okay. Number 6. This country star threw a chair from a roof and nearly hit 2 police officers, who promptly arrested him. A, Jason Aldean. B, Morgan Wallen. Or C, Luke Bryan.
Damn. I'm not in with the country people.
Me neither. I didn't even know this happened.
The only name that I know is Luke Bryan, and I don't even know.
It was Morgan Wallen. Morgan Wallen became very popular, I want to say, in the past couple years. In April of 2024, so this happened last year, country star Morgan Wallen was arrested for allegedly throwing a chair from a rooftop bar. This chair ended up landing close to 2 officers who arrested Wallen and charged with 3 counts of reckless endangerment and 1 count of disorderly conduct. He was released hours later, courtesy of Yahoo Entertainment.
That's pretty funny.
That's very funny.
You think he was on something when he did that?
I think he was drunk.
Oh yeah,
if he was at a rooftop bar,
probably pretty drunk.
He's like, I'll fuck you, bitch. And
I bet you can't throw that chair at those 2 officers and hit one of them.
Do you want to see how far I can throw this chair?
And he's like, fuck you, bet.
Stop! Don't do it back to back. Editing that sucks. Don't do it. Okay.
You're like, no.
I'm like, stop, no. It's fine, you swear. Just don't say it all back to back. I don't want to edit all that. Okay. Number 7. This group famously was caught lip-syncing their album and had in fact not sung it at all. The album was then revoked of its Grammy. A, the B-52s, B, Milli Vanilli, or C, Frankie Goes to Hollywood.
Oh, damn, that's big.
This was, reading up on it, I had never heard about it, but it monumental. This is like a one of its kind. The B-52s, Milli Vanilli, and Frankie Goes to Hollywood.
I'm going to say B-52s.
It was Milli Vanilli. So, in 1989, the pop duo Milli Vanilli became infamous when it was revealed that they had not sung on their hit records. Their Grammy Award was subsequently revoked, marking a significant moment in music history. Milli Vanilli's credibility shattered overnight. This incident led to a broader conversation about honesty and integrity in the music business.
Wow. Wait, so did they like go on tour and not sing a single thing?
So, basically, I don't know those kind of details, but basically, I'm not sure what album. I know nothing about Milli Vanilli. That's the thing.
Yeah, I didn't. That was the one that I didn't really recognize.
Yeah. So basically, what had happened is they got someone else, some other. So Milli Vanilli's two people. They're a duo. They got other people to sing their album for them. That album performed phenomenally well, like millions of dollars. They won a Grammy for it, and then it came out that they hadn't even sung on the record at all. And I think for one of the first times ever, they were revoked of their Grammy.
Wow.
Because it wasn't them at all. And so when they would perform it, I'm assuming they would get the same guys who recorded it to, sing it, and they would lip sync.
That's insane.
What have you? Yeah. Again, I had never heard of it. That's insane. Bonkers behavior.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What the hell?
Number 8. This one's my favorite. This metalhead called Chad Kroeger of Nickelback an idiot and said he had a face like a foot.
We've talked about this before.
I told you about this, but do you remember who it was?
Nope.
Okay. A, Jonathan Davis from Korn. B, Fred Durst from Limp Bizkit. Just one of those days. Or C, Corey Taylor from Slipknot.
Damn. Is it from Korn?
No, it's Corey Taylor from Slipknot.
Oh, I see. I was going in between those two.
This is my favorite.
That is so funny. What did he say? He called it. He said
he was an idiot and had a face like a foot. So I actually.
What a fucking insult!
I actually heard about this from my brother. My brother Clayton told me about this.
Damn.
Like years ago at this point. This happened in like 2017. Basically, Chad Kroeger. So Corey Taylor has two bands. His main one is Slipknot. So Slipknot is the metal band where they wear the masks, the scary mask, and they whatever. But he also has another band called Stone Sour. Stone Sour is like a not as crazy Slipknot. I don't think they perform as wildly on stage as Slipknot does.
Okay. So on one he does a little bit more drugs. The other one he's sober.
I don't know. I don't know much about Corey Taylor, but this is my favorite thing I've ever heard. So Kroeger slammed Stone Sour in a recent interview, calling the Taylor-fronted group, quote, Nickelback light, and challenging Corey to, quote, write a hit song. Speaking with Sweden's Metal Covenant, Kroeger started out by telling the site, I can't think of another band that's as diverse as we are. I can't. And I don't think that's me talking from pride or ego. Mind you, this is the guy in Nickelback.
Yeah.
This is... Okay?
You're not that...
Keep that in mind. The man who married Avril Lavigne. Yeah. Same guy. Keep that in mind. The Stone Sour and Slipknot singers...
Are they still married?
No, they got divorced a while ago. Yeah, they're not married anymore. The Stone Sour and Slipknot singer stressed that he has no issues with any other members of Nickelback. Quote, I love everybody else in the band. I'm very, very cool with. I've hung out with them. It's just, quote, face like a foot, who I can't really hang out with. He's got a face like a foot. Am I wrong?
Wow.
He added, see, that's the hard thing. I can't even say anything about the band Nickelback because none of them have issue with us. It's him. So, dude, curl up in your bed with your Hello Kitty pillow and shut up.
That is so funny. What a clapback.
That's me and Clayton love to talk about that because it's Chad Kroeger.
Yeah, it's like you're Nickelback,
the lead
dude.
Singer of Nickelback, and like, say what you want about Nickelback. Like, obviously they're very successful as a band, but
they're one of the most successful rock bands of arguably our generation.
And it's like, you can be a successful band, but you don't have to go around calling other people's bands Nickelback light. Like, I don't. Yeah, and that insult, face like a foot. Yeah, that's fucking funny.
That's great.
That's really fucking funny.
You know what? He probably thought of that on the fly too.
Yeah, I mean, dude, all respect to Corey Taylor. That is so funny.
That is so good.
Funny. And like, it's not even like Chad Kroeger and like Corey Taylor are the most famous people of all. That's my favorite celebrity.
Yeah.
My favorite celebrity beef of all time.
That's so
funny.
So good.
Yeah. All right. Number 9. This notoriously litigious band discovered that their entire catalog was on Napster for free. They fired a copyright lawsuit with music site and won. A. Metallica. B. AC/DC. Or C. Guns N' Roses.
Damn.
This is famous.
I just recently found out, because I don't know history of anything music-wise, basically. I just basically found out that AC/DC had someone else replace their original singer, because their original singer died from alcohol. I think.
Yeah.
I don't know his name.
I don't either.
Bond something, I think.
Yes, but you're right. Yes.
And then they had them replaced, and it sounds so like alike almost. It's crazy.
Yeah.
But anyways, I'm gonna say AC/DC.
It was actually Metallica. So
I saw them live.
Congratulations. That was probably crazy.
It was insane. Yeah. My first concert ever. Crazy.
Yeah. Metallica is one of my dad's favorite bands.
I got the bleeders.
Metallica.
We were in the bleeders.
Oh, the nosebleeds.
Yeah.
Sick.
Dude, still amazing.
Yeah. So this is actually a very, very famous case. On April 13th, 2000, so almost 25 years ago to the day.
I was born that year.
You were.
Woo!
But yeah, almost 25 years ago to the day, Metallica sued Napster, claiming copyright infringement and demanding that the platform remove all of their songs. In 2001, the legal scales tipped in favor of Metallica, with Napster being forced to shut down its operations.
Wow.
So Metallica, in suing Napster to get their songs off, because obviously Napster is a basically a piracy website. Everybody would download music there for free.
Yeah.
What have you. In suing Napster, shut it down completely because it brought up this whole thing about copyright infringement and all of that.
Good for them.
Yeah. I remember thinking back on it, like, I remember hearing about it. I was like, wow, that was kind of like, I don't know. I viewed Metallica as the bad guys for some reason. And then I was like, no, they were totally right.
No, they were
like,
the good
that's
guys.
Crazy.
Yeah,
totally
piracy is insane.
Right. So that was from yellowbrick.co. And then the rest is kind of from me that another thing I know about, or I note about Metallica, is that famously they don't like to use their songs commercially. Like, I don't know if you noticed, but they don't really use their songs in commercials or movies, TVs, things like that. And another reason is that they don't want the songs to be misrepresented, is kind of what they did, like misuse of the songs. However, in 2022, in season 4 of Stranger Things, Eddie Munson plays Master of Puppets in the Upside Down. Lars Ulrich, famously, of Metallica, said, quote, "We just said, you know what? This is stupid. Why are we hanging on to these songs like they're so important, like they're crown jewels? We just started saying yes to everything. Let's share our music with the world."
That's fair. I mean, to be fair, they're getting to that age.
Yeah.
So a lot of them are getting to that age to where they're not pushing out the songs that they used to.
Right.
And sure, I mean, hardcore fans still listen to their new stuff.
Yeah.
But,
like my dad.
Yeah, but it's not like they have an impact like they did before.
Right. And another thing that came out of Master of Puppets being in Stranger Things, because Stranger Things is one of the biggest shows ever.
Yeah.
Like ever. And after that had aired, Eddie Munson playing Master of Puppets in the Upside Down, he was playing against Vecna, whatever. Master of Puppets went into the Billboard Hot 100 as a result. And Lars Ulrich was like, that's insane. Like, even after, I think he said, like 40 years. And these songs are still having the impact they did. And I was like, that's awesome. And I get why they didn't want to do that, is because they had the whole shit with Napster.
Yeah.
So I totally get why. But it was also awesome to be like, fuck it. Like, we'll just say yes to everything. At this point, we're just hiding our music. Let's just put it out there. And as a result, they got back into the charts after 40 years.
That's how you should do it, to be honest.
Yeah. I can tell that was probably a lot. Last thing on the whole Napster Metallica thing, there is a really, really funny South Park episode where basically it's like some government agent, and he's walking Stan through all of these like musicians' houses, and he's like, Lars Ulrich has to wait for his gold-plated pool because of Napster. He has to wait another 6 months because he can't afford it because of Napster. It's so funny. And then he's like, Britney Spears has to wait to buy her new like $10 million mansion because of Napster. Like that. It's really, really awesome.
That's funny.
Just taking the piss out of it. All right. Last one, number 10. Are you ready for this one?
Hit me with it.
Serial killer and cultist Charles Manson wrote and recorded a song for this easygoing rock band. A, the Kinks, B, the Beach Boys, or C, the Beatles?
I'm gonna say the Beach Boys.
It was the Beach Boys.
I think I had heard something about that.
I had no idea.
Yeah.
So Manson befriended Beach Boy Dennis Wilson, and the two ended up living together. Manson's song "Never Learn Not to Love" ended up on their album 2020, which was a B-side.
Because Manson was was an artist of his own.
I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Okay, I'll admit I know nothing about Charles Manson.
To be fair, I have
other than he was insane.
My mom researched him heavily whenever she was going through school, because there was a class that I don't know if she got to choose the person or if everyone had to research him, but she had to research him and watch like interview videos of him.
What a case study.
Yeah.
Seriously.
And that's when I started learning more about him, because I was just like, Jesus, he's insane.
Right.
And so I think I had heard something about this from that.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Well, a fun little thing. The Manson-Wilson relationship ended abruptly in the summer of 1968 when Wilson took Manson, an aspiring musician, to record at his studio. Manson had a disagreement with Wilson's producer and ended up pulling a knife on him.
Whoa.
So if that doesn't say enough about Charles Manson. In September 1968, the Beach Boys even recorded a slightly altered version of Manson's song "Cease to Exist," which they renamed "Never Learn Not to Love." Wilson was the sole songwriting credit on the track. He didn't want Manson to be associated with it.
I don't blame him.
In a quote from Dennis Wilson, he was like, "As long as I live, I will never talk about it." He was just like,
that's fair.
He felt crazy shame about it, and it's like, that's the whole thing, is like, Charles Manson was obviously so charming because he had to be.
Yeah.
In order to do what he wanted to do and what he did, he had to be. So I'm not even surprised that he got in buddy with a Beach Boy. That doesn't surprise me at all. But I can still imagine the amount of like, oh my God, who did I live with? Who did I talk to? Who do I associate with? Yeah. And it was Charles Manson.
It's crazy to think about, but yeah.
In retrospect, like, you know, he could have been one of them. You never know.
Yeah.
Anyway, that was that. Again, I had to sift through some. Oh, and then I almost included him, but the amount of fucked up shit that Marilyn Manson has done. Manson.
Holy, that's a whole other.
He has a crazy ass rap sheet.
Yeah.
It is awful. What an awful person.
It sucks too, because it's hard with artists specifically, because you're just like, this person, it could be man or woman, is just a horrible individual. But there's a beautiful side to it, to where it's just like, but they have this music that is just like it's touching in a way.
Right.
And that's why, like, years ago when all the shit with XX, what's his face?
Tentacion, yeah.
Yeah, when all that shit was going down.
Because he beat his girlfriend.
Whole bunch of bad stuff.
Among other things.
Yeah.
But that was the main one.
Like, there was a few songs of his that I really liked. And I was just like, every time I listened to it, I'm like, but I'm like supporting him in this. And it's a weird, like, good but bad thing to like throw around in your head about.
If Napster were still around, that would be the only, I would think, ethical way to consume or like use Napster, is like, if the artist is I would say you do that. But no, like, it really brings up, and I was reading, because I went on Reddit when I was reading a bunch of these, and one of them brought up a point of like, it's a whole separating the art from the artist conversation. I have a really hard time doing that. Like, there are just some times where I'll listen to music by a certain person, and I'm like, this music is fantastic, but morally, like, I can't sit here and listen to it and feel good about it. Like, I will recognize, this is good, but the person behind it is just bad. They're a bad person. That's what I'm saying. Like, morally, if Napster were still around, and there are still ways that you can pirate music, obviously.
There's always going to be a way.
So easy, by the way. I would say that's the ethical way to consume their music. But yeah, I have a hard time doing it. Yeah. And it's just like, I love music so much, and I really pride myself in having a very wide music range.
I love your music taste.
I listen to just about anything. I really do. And I used to be like, everything but country. But I was like, no, because When He Cheats is a banger. And I won't sit here and pretend that country banger is not in my rotation.
I will say, I do draw the line at country.
And that's fine. I would say when he cheats
I
is
think
kind
the
of
I think the only exception I make is Johnny Cash, and I mean that's if you want to say he's
but
country
Johnny
or not.
Cash, I would say Johnny Cash and like Garth Brooks, they really do exceed.
They teeter on the edge.
Yeah, they really do exceed like the country genre, even though they kind of fit that. Their audience is so wide and vast that I agree that Johnny Cash would be considered exception again, and Garth Brooks like reached everybody. But yeah, in my wide music range is just like, man, I want to listen to everything, but sometimes everything sucks. Everybody sucks. But like, so
everything sucks.
Don't do the Fred Durst. It's just one of those days.
That's what I was trying to.
You don't want to wake up. Everything's everybody sucks. Don't really know why, but you want to justify. Rip someone's head off.
Good song, by the way.
It's not. Hot dog water. Hot dog flavored water and the chocolate starfish. Horrible. I do not like Limp Bizkit. I do not. Does somebody say meatloaf?
That's a good reference right there.
Somebody say meatloaf. Okay.
No, it's funny because when it comes to music specifically, I have friends that are like so into it. They know these like niche bands, and I'll sit there. I'm not a big music person. I was even telling them, I'm like, I can't tell you a single, and this has a lot to do with me just being.
What was your top song for 2024? Was it a Michael Jackson?
Yeah, it was a Michael Jackson song. Sue me.
Anyway, go ahead.
But no, like there are times where I just can't remember stuff.
Yeah.
And them talking about music, I'm sitting there just brain fog, and I'm like, I can't name a single title in all of my playlist. And they looked at me, and I'm like, I'm being dead serious right now.
I think it's different because like when I'm just listening to music, whatever. But you asked me to recall something, I'm like,
what?
The
Like
probably,
I think Jordan asked us, your sister-in-law, a few days ago, where she was just like, don't you guys always have a song that's going through your head?
Oh yeah.
And I was just like,
yeah, I do.
I sat there and I'm like, I don't. Am I?
I do, but I think
okay?
it's because I listen to music almost every second of every day. Like I exhaust my Spotify
I would have
membership.
to, yeah, I'd have to listen to a song for it to go through my head.
And I was telling her, I was like, in the middle of the night when I wake up and I have to go pee, I've got a song going through my head, just like in my head while I'm going pee, and then when I go to sleep, it's gone, and a new song will come up.
Yeah, that's and like.
And I think it's because I have a wider library. At least than you do.
I feel like I like having a wide library, but I'm also very picky. There are times where I'm just like, yeah, anything that plays I love, but then there are days where I'm just like, 3 seconds into a song, I'm like, nope.
I go through phases.
Nope. I'm like, no,
you.
this one bangs. No, but it's just like, and it's so funny because
all bangers.
On some of the songs that bang, it's like the ending song for God of War.
I gotta be in the mood for it. I get it. I'm there with you. I mean,
So,
you've been in the car with me. I'll play all of my favorite songs. I'm like, skip, skip until I end up something I feel like listening to.
Yeah. So yeah, no, that's.
And then my liked songs on Spotify will give anybody whiplash. You hit shuffle on that bitch, and you're.
That's what you told me, because I only go off of.
We're listening to Thought by Megan Thee Stallion. Switch over to Gary's song from the SpongeBob soundtrack.
No, because
that's just what I do.
When we first started dating,
yeah.
you were telling me, she's like, you were like, you need to get off of Apple.
Okay.
But here's the thing. I had told you, we're holding hands.
I grasped so hard.
I had told you because I was like, I grew up with an iPod.
Me too.
I grew up with my parents, for like my sister and my birthday. They would gift us like $25 of iTunes
gift cards. Remember the days of iTunes gift cards?
And so that's how I grew up. And so when Apple Music came out, I was like, oh, I'll just do this. I already have everything.
Right.
I'll just switch it over. And I just kept adding to it. I never had playlists. And so when I met you, you're like, you need to switch. And I was just like,
I think I've already mentioned this on the podcast, like on one of our very first episodes.
And now Spotify's going up in price, and Apple Music's staying the same.
Okay, I will say this. On our first date, I got home. I told my roommate, I was like, the biggest red flag I could find about him is that he uses Apple Music. And I was dead serious. I was like, I cannot believe he uses Apple Music. I was like, and then we got around to it, and you're like, I bought Spotify. I was like, thank God I can stay with this man. Anyway.
But now it's just like it's the same thing for me.
Yeah.
Is because like it kind of cleansed me in a way, because there was a lot of songs that on my Apple playlist that I just was just getting tired of, and I'm one of those people that it's hard for me to look for new songs and to take new songs out, because it's just so daunting to me. There's so much, I don't even know where to start.
I don't take anything out. I let the past. That's like
let
a scroll.
That's
like
let
an
it go.
Ancient scroll. My like songs all the way at the bottom. That's an ancient scroll. You can see me growing for the past like 5 years since I've had or like 6 years since I've had my Spotify membership.
So like whenever I switched, I was just like, all right, start over.
New beginnings.
New beginnings.
New
Like I'll make a playlist and I'll add one song to it, and I was like, I'll come back to that.
Yeah.
I have D&D songs.
Yeah, you do.
But that's about it. Oh, I have video game songs.
Yeah.
Because when I play video games, I like to put on my own playlist. I'll turn the music off, and I'll play my own playlist from that video game playlist. So it's just background music.
Whenever I'm doing something and I'm like, okay, I need to lock the in, I play the Zelda soundtrack, specifically from Ocarina of Time. I will play that, and it's like a lo-fi version of it, and I'm like, all right, let's lock the in.
All right, let's get this
It
done.
usually happens when I'm reading and my eyes get tired. I'm like, all right. Yeah.
So that's my only thing about that. But
fair.
Last episode we were going to get into road rage and HOAs.
Okay, so I pulled up. First of all, you're not a very angry driver. I'm an angry driver.
You're not a very, but you're an angry driver.
I'm an angry driver. Listen, how do I put this? My mother, bless her heart, the most infuriating thing my mom does, she doesn't use a turn signal. And for some reason, that irks me to my core, to the point where now every time I do anything, I put on a turn signal. I'm like, turn signal. My favorite tweet of all time is, God works in mysterious ways, but you don't have to use your turn signal. My favorite tweet of all time.
That's so good.
But no, I am an angry driver.
It's funny because
I'll swear, cuss, do whatever. I'm just,
because it's
people suck.
For me, it's kind of the opposite. My mom is an angry driver. I'll be on the phone with her. She'll be driving, and she'll just be like, "Get the f*** out of the way!" Anyways, so the sky was blue today. Then it became cloudy, and I'm like,
I had pancakes for breakfast.
I was like,
this morning.
what the heck? Yeah. But from her, I learned, I'm like, okay, I can be way more patient than that.
Yeah.
And so, like, while I'm driving or doing anything in general, like technology-wise, she'd be like, I can't figure this shit out. She's like, this doesn't want to work with me. And I'm like, all right, well, let me take a look. And I'm sitting there, and I, like, click 3 buttons.
Patience is probably your best virtue. You are a very patient person, at least on the outside. On the inside, I'm sure it's a different story.
Oh, on the inside, it's like...
But on the outside,
it's like the episode of SpongeBob where they're throwing the fire there in the office in his brain.
Oh, in his brain, and there's fire everywhere.
That's how it feels on the inside sometimes.
Gotcha. No, I mean... when we were talking about last episode, I was on my way to work, and the street that we have, it's like a little back street with our apartment or whatever, and I had a truck pull out in front of me, or like a big ass Tahoe pull out in front of me. I was on the road. They were in a parking lot pulling in front of me, and it was like this older guy, and he looked at me. He saw that he was pulling out in front of me. He just went and shrugged. He like put his hands up and he shrugs. I'm like, if you were going any faster, I could have died. You would have hit me. Like, I am so... And then, on a separate instance, I was going straight, and then a Kia pulled out, went right in front of me. I locked eyes with the Kia driver as we were head on with each other, and then they swerved out of the way. And I was like, first of all, fuck you, Kia drivers. Second of all, I hate you.
You have something against Kia drivers, and I thought it was so funny, because before I met you, I didn't think anything of any of them. And then when I met you, you're just like, Kia drivers. And I was just like, why? They're like, they're the worst. And it's funny, too, that you say that, because Tyler, Melissa, Tyler's wife, is I don't know if she is anymore, but she was a Kia driver.
Oh, yeah.
One
of my favorite coworkers from my old job, I was talking about, oh, yeah, I almost got hit by a Kia driver this morning. I hate Kia drivers. Like, I'm sorry. She drives a red Kia. I'm like, Terry, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
I didn't mean you.
And so, like, when you say stuff like that, in the back of my head, I'm like, I'm sorry, Melissa. We don't mean
And then I think
this.
of my stepmom. She used to drive a Kia.
Yeah. It's warranted sometimes. Don't get me wrong.
But yeah, you get in the car with me. We're behind a Kia, and they're either too slow or they're just a little bit too reckless when they drive.
Or they just don't care.
Yeah. That and Jeep drivers. Jeep drivers can sometimes drive erratic as well, but not as much as Kia drivers. Also, Kia Souls.
I feel like Kia Souls are the worst of all.
And they catch on fire. Kia Souls catch on fire.
Is that like a known thing?
Yes.
Oh.
Yeah, there's like a pretty famous like meme picture of a green, like an ugly chartreuse green Kia Soul just on fire.
Do you think it's because it's named Soul?
I don't.
And Soul is another word for sun?
Well, that's not how it's spelled, but I know you're dyslexic, so you probably didn't know.
Is that really?
Yes, SOL is the other word for soul. It's SOUL. That's on the Kia.
Oh.
Anyway.
I didn't know that. I thought it was
I
thought it was SOL.
I know you did.
Hey.
Okay. So, I can't think of any specific. Oh, yes, I can. Okay, before I have some road race stories that I found online and some pretty famous ones. I have a road rage story, but it wasn't of me. It was someone to me, something that I did, and they got mad at me.
Oh.
So
I have one too, but go ahead.
Okay. So I was driving with a friend, and so in this road particularly, I'll tell you which one it was later, where there's two turn lanes to turn right. So there's like a left and a right, and they both turn right.
Yeah.
The left lane's supposed to go in the furthest one, right, whatever. So I realized it was in the wrong lane, and I needed to get to the over one, but the street was so, like, cramped and busy. I went to merge over, and I almost hit somebody. Like, I almost clipped him. And I was like, oh, shit. Like, I kind of waved my hand, like a sorry kind of thing, and then we drove by. I ended up next to this person at a stoplight. Mind you, Shelby, same person who told me about Rasputin's 13-inch penis, was in the passenger seat. So this lady in her car is yelling, like full on. You can see her yelling.
Like she has the window rolled down?
Yeah. So the window is rolled down. She's full on yelling. My windows are up. I'm like, I'm not going to engage with this. Because
if you get in a road rage with someone and they have their windows rolled up and they're yelling at you, that's a move. Roll your windows down. Let me hear what you're saying.
She let me have it. And I will say this, it was deserved. I almost clipped her. Luckily, nothing happened. Obviously, I almost clipped her. So it was deserved. I will recognize that. But this next part, I don't think was deserved. Basically, so my friend Shelby, she's looking over at this woman yelling. I'm straight ahead. Like, I'm nervous. Like, I don't want to look at her while she's yelling. My friend Shelby, however, is over there like, you bitch, like, stop yelling. What do you want? Whatever. So the lady with the window down grabs a drink in her car and throws it at my car. And obviously windows are rolled up, so nothing happened. Like, nobody got wet or whatever. And then Shelby just goes, bitch, and then we drive on. So, again, it was deserved, but that was probably this, like,
road rage brings the worst out of people.
It does. It really does. But that was probably the worst road rage incidents I've been a part of, and it was me. I'm typically, I would like to think, a normal, good enough driver. I've never been in an accident before. I've never gotten a ticket, no nothing. But, again.
I've gotten a ticket.
There's no such thing as a perfect driver, okay? We all have our moments. We all do things that are not smart, and that was one of those moments for me.
I'll tell two stories.
Okay.
So the first story is when I first got my Prius. I'm a Prius driver.
Yes.
I had a
Pepper
the Prius. I had a Honda Civic. It broke down because it had an oil leak. Shitty car. So I bought a Prius because my dad had a Prius, and I was like, that's kind of cool. It's good on mileage, blah, blah, blah. And also they look sick now. They look cool as hell.
The new Priuses look dope.
They look dope
as fuck. They look
like
sports cars.
Anyways, I bought a Prius, and I was about maybe 3 weeks into driving it, and I pull up to a stoplight, and I'm turning right. My light's red, so I can, if I stop, there was no cars coming. I look down, and about maybe 3-4 minutes from me is a motorcycle.
Okay.
And I'm like, okay, so I turn because he's far away.
You underestimate how much motorcyclists speed.
He sped up.
As you were turning?
So I turn, and he speeds up to catch up to me. And as he's catching up to me, he's flipping me off. And I'm like, oh my God, I'm witnessing it. this is what a Prius driver feels like. Because
this is the discrimination of a Prius driver.
Either he hates Priuses, and he's like, fuck your Prius, I'm a motorcycle person.
It's like me every time I see a Cybertruck.
Yes. Or B, he thought I turned out way too early, and he was flipping me off because he assumed that I was going to hit him.
Right.
And I was just like, I obviously didn't take anything of it. I was just like, holy crap.
You just drive away and you forget about it.
This is my life now.
Yeah.
But yeah, that happened, and I thought that was really funny.
That, again,
I forgot what my second story was going to be.
That's okay. If he was a motorcyclist, the chances are is that he doesn't like Priuses.
Yeah.
Because he's in a motorcycle and you're in a Prius.
Yeah.
You two could not be any different in terms of what you drive. But yeah,
I'm trying to get the best miles per hour.
Dude, it takes you $30 to fill up a tank.
Hell yeah.
It takes you about 60.
To be fair, my tank I think is a little bit smaller than yours.
I have 15.
I don't even know what I have.
I have 15 gallons. Anyway, every time I see a Cybertruck.
Kidding.
What'd you say?
I said I have 23.
Yeah. Every time I see a Cybertruck, I have visible disgust.
Yeah,
on
I think
my
we
face.
both do.
Yeah, I'm like, what? Gross. What an ugly looking car.
Yeah.
And apparently, like, I think Drew Gooden did a video on the Cybertruck, like, and he drove it. He like rented a Cybertruck just to drive it to see what it was about. And apparently, so I don't know if you know this about cars, but you know when you get in when you see car accidents or whatever, and you see cars that are like hella dented, like they basically looks like they've been chewed.
Yeah.
Well, the reason that cars are meant to do that is so that the car absorbs the impact and not you, because so the car is all f***ed up so that
you're safe,
can remain as safe as possible even though you get in an accident. Well, in the Drew Gooden video, he found out that Cybertrucks are the opposite, where basically it's harder to kind of crunch in a way. And he was like, yeah, that's stupid because now you get all of the impact if you get in a car accident.
Well, and
you drive a Cybertruck, which means people want to hit you.
Yeah. And I think what came out, I could be completely wrong about this, but I want to say what I read about the Cybertruck, especially because of the way it looks.
Yeah.
It's because of the metal that they're using for the panels itself. It's a little bit harder for it to turn into certain angles like other cars do.
So that's why it's all straight, all angles,
sharp,
no curves.
Yeah.
Okay, that's why it looks like
that's
it's
what
a low
I had
poly
read.
car
Yeah,
from a PlayStation.
And that's why it's like a little bit harder to dent or something like that.
Yeah, but still,
ugly car. It looks like a dumpster.
There's a reason cars are more, for lack of a better term, malleable when it comes to being hit, is because the car absorbs the impact. But when it doesn't, you are more likely to get more of the force, the more of the G's, the impact of if you get hit.
More of the J's.
The J's. So I found some stories for you of some famous road rage incidents. The first one comes from, hey, who guessed it, Florida in 2015.
The amazing state of Florida.
Yeah. The United States armpit. In 2015, Robert Doyle called the police in Florida and informed them another driver had attempted to ram him clean off the road. At the same time, Candelario Gonzalez's wife, Kathy, was on the phone with the police to tell them about a driver that was out of control. She told the police they intended to follow him home. The whole incident played out on police radio as Doyle, weapon in hand, Florida, pulled into his driveway. Gonzalez blocked his car in, and Doyle opened fire as soon as he exited the car. Gonzalez was killed by 4 separate gunshots, and Doyle held his family at gunpoint until the police arrived. He was charged with second-degree murder, but the charges were later dropped. It just goes to show, though, that perspective is everything to a road rage incident, and both drivers felt they were in the right. Imagine feeling you were in the right after killing someone.
Holy crap. That's what's scary about all those open arm states.
Open carry states.
Open carry states.
Yeah, I will say one thing about California is we're not an open carry state. I feel a lot better because Californians, not good drivers.
It's just
historically, not very good.
It's great. It's the only thing I will say about that is because in this instance,
that was so easy to escalate.
Yeah.
Because it's an open carry state.
Yeah.
And you can just have a gun out, like holstered,
yeah.
or in your car and not be questioned about it.
Like
it's
you can,
insane.
like with my story, me driving a Prius. If someone doesn't like me driving a Prius, open arm or open carry. Like, someone could just show that to me.
And that's the thing, is that this is only one story, but this happens, I'm sure, all the time.
Yeah.
This is just a more documented one, because it's insane that both people called the police on each other.
Yeah.
Because, what have you. Yeah. So another one was from a Redditor. His user is called Macaballs.
Macaballs!
Love that. So his story is: guy in a red pickup almost hit myself, my mother, and 2 sisters while driving down McLeod Road in Niagara Falls. My mother rolled down the window and said, "Watch where you're going. There are kids in the car. You're trying to kill someone?" The guy looks at us and says in the scariest voice I've ever heard, "Oh yeah?" He took out an axe from beside him and started waving it at us. My mother sped into a parking lot to get away and call 911. He follows us and gets out of his truck and starts walking towards us with the axe. My mom screams into the phone that the guy is coming toward us with an axe. We hightail it out of there and he runs back into his truck. We managed to get to a driveway in a random neighborhood and turn off the car. He didn't see us, thank God. I was 6. Most terrifying thing in my life, and that's saying something because I've had cancer and I wasn't scared as I was then.
Wow.
An axe! That's actually crazy because that's not the first time I've heard or seen. There's a video of a road rage caught on dash cam of a guy walking out of a car and he's got an axe.
That's
like an
crazy.
Actual
Axe. Which was it, a girl or a guy that said that?
I'm assuming it's a guy.
What they said at the end.
Most terrifying thing of my life, and that's saying something because I've had cancer and I wasn't as scared as I was then.
That's some character development right there.
True.
Because it's just like that happens, and
if I can live through that and then I get cancer
later in life, they're like, I was more scared of that than cancer. Like when you get diagnosed with cancer, you're just like, bring it on.
Yeah, that can't be as scary as when I was 6 and
like,
some guy came at me with an axe. With an axe.
Kudos to that person. That's crazy.
That's a crazy story, but I can't. If I had to guess, I'd be like, yeah, it's Niagara Falls, so it's up north.
That's still insane.
I expect better from Northerners.
That's what I'm saying though. Is like that's what is scary about road rage. Is like someone could just snap, and
so easy. Something about being behind a 2-ton motorized vehicle makes people just the angriest versions of themselves. Yeah. When I was looking these up, a lot of, like, on Google, they'll give you, like, suggested things, like the little drop downs or whatever. And one of them was like, what is the root cause of road rage? And basically,
could be a lot of things.
Yeah, and basically they're like, well, the main one is just if you're an angry person to begin with. I'm like, yeah, that's easy. And they're like, oh, or the pressure, like if you're running late, like the pressure of running late can make you angry.
Yeah, that's true too.
Or, life situations like losing your job or something happening in your personal life, yada, yada. It just comes down to you're an angry person.
Yeah, it comes down. I feel like a lot of it also comes down to just composure.
Yeah.
Because let's say any of those situations get put onto you, it's a matter of like how you address it. Right. And you're like, okay, I have to just deal with that now. I'm going to be late.
Yeah. And I would say the difference in like that kind of road rage, and I'm trying to save my butt here because I did say I was an angry driver, is the difference is I'm not getting out of my car to yell at people.
With an axe.
My windows are up.
Yeah.
I'm yelling for the sake of me.
Crazy.
I'm releasing anger for me in my car. I've flipped people off before. Hey, because you deserve it.
Yeah.
But I'm never going to get out of my car. I'm never going to roll down my window. I'm not going to yell at somebody. I'm yelling because if I don't yell and I bottle it up, I will lose it. So
there are times where you get mad at me for not honking at people.
Yeah, I'm like, you should have honked. That was crazy.
Yeah.
You should have honked.
And there are times where I'm like, yeah, I should have. But then there was other times where I'm just like,
yeah, I should have honked.
But there are times where I'm just like, I don't really want to though.
Yeah. There are also times. Did I tell you a story? I had to honk at a police officer one time because he was at a green light and he wasn't paying attention.
That was my other story that I was gonna say.
Oh yeah.
So thank you for reminding me.
By the way, I was like, my hand was shaking as my hand was over the horn. I'm like, sir, you need to go.
The one ticket that I've gotten was because I was on my phone at a red light.
Yes.
So I was going over to your house after
we watched Oppenheimer.
We were tired because we did the Barbie and the Oppenheimer too.
Yeah, and I had a crazy headache during Oppenheimer.
Yeah.
I was like,
so we rushed back. You quickly went to sleep.
Yeah, you went back to your house
I
to
had
the
to
apartment to get clothes or something.
I think I had work the next day, so I went back to go get it. So
Right.
on my way back, my phone was dying.
Uh-huh.
I didn't know this until like I was at the stoplight.
Right.
I didn't realize it until I was at the stoplight because I was like, oh, my phone's gonna die. This cop pulls up to me. Mind you, it's like 11 p.m. And I was like, okay, there's no one here at this red stoplight. I'm sitting there waiting for it to turn green. I'm sitting there scrolling through Twitter. Don't have Twitter anymore, by the way. But
yeah, that's probably trauma.
yeah. And I'm sitting
Also,
there scrolling
it's
through Twitter, and this police officer drives up, sees me on my phone at the light, pulls up even more to where he now knows. He's like, okay, now he sees me. Is he gonna put it away? And at this point, I'm just like, well, A, he's either going to still pull me over no matter what because he still saw me. Or B, he's just going to pull me over because now he's like, well, you saw me. And so I was just like, well, I'm just going to be on Twitter still. So I'm just sitting there on Twitter still. And then finally, turns green. I put my phone away. I drive. He turns his light on. He pulls me over. And he's like, you know why I pulled you over? And I'm like, was it because I was on my phone at a red stoplight? And he said, yeah. And I was just like,
in the future, whenever.
Oh wait, I think I said no, and he told me.
I was like, you
I
need
think
to
he told,
say no.
I think he told me.
If you admit it, it'll make your life way worse.
I said
you always say no, even if it's completely obvious. Always. Say
I think
no.
I said no, and he was just like, it was because you're on your phone at the stoplight, and I was like, even if it was red, and he was just like, yep, and I was like, all right. So then he's like, license and blah blah blah, and I was like, okay. And at this time, my license was expiring, so I had everything on my phone, and so I start looking for it, and I was like, oh. And I tell him, I was like, I think everything is on my phone. He's like, okay. So I give him my ID, and I start looking through my phone. And then by the time he comes back by, I'm like, my phone just died. And he was just like, all right. He was also training someone too. So the person came back by after he had ran everything and asked if I had found my license or whatever. And I was like, it's on my phone. My phone's dead. And everything's back at my house. And he was just like, okay. So then he came back by. He's like, I'm going to give you a ticket for you being on your phone at a light or a stoplight or on your phone in general. He's like, but I'm not giving you a ticket for not having your insurance and blah, blah, blah. And I was like, okay. And then he let me go. And then I got back to your place and I was just like, fuck, dude, this sucks. And you were asleep. And I was just like, I didn't have a key to your place. So I was just like, all right, well, I guess I'm going to go back home.
Yeah, I felt so bad. I had knocked out, and apparently you were ringing the doorbell, like you were banging on the door.
I tried not to. Because I knew Shelby and Matt were there too.
If you had, they would have opened the door.
But like I was like throwing like little like bark at your window.
Oh really?
Yeah.
I didn't hear it. I was knocked out. Like my head hurt so bad.
After I sat there for a bit, I was just like,
Oppenheimer, when there's a bomb going on. Yeah, my head hurt so bad. So
yeah, that was my only time I got a ticket.
Yeah.
Which I was just like, well, that sucks.
Yeah, it was rough. But I mean, you know.
I learned my lesson. I don't go on my phone.
Yeah, and you don't have Twitter.
And I don't have Twitter. I deleted that.
You don't have Twitter anymore.
Yeah.
So last one that I pulled up is probably, at least, I'm very hesitant to say the word my favorite, but because it's still fucked up. But watching the video is insane. So this is a famous video that was going around for a while. Basically, this guy, I'll just read the news thing. The driver who panicked crowds sent Rose Festival parade goers diving for cover was overtaken by a fit of rage when he encountered a series of closed interstate exits and traffic blocking his path, a dash cam video shows. So basically, this guy with a recording dash cam is on his phone, like on a phone call, and there's a parade going on. I think it's in Oregon or something like that. There's a parade going on, so they have a bunch of shit blocked off, and he's like, well, I have to go somewhere. He bashes through all of the barricades, all of that shit, straight into a parade.
I remember this happening too.
Yeah, so it was a video that was going around. It was posted everywhere. I remember watching it. I was like, wow. So, let me see. So when he was being prosecuted, obviously they pulled up his dash cam footage because, hey, it caught him doing it. So the dashboard cameras captured his pickup plowing through a curb of series of traffic cones and then driving over a curb onto a sloped shoulder covered in vegetation at the Broadway Wilder Street exit on northbound Interstate 5 just before 10 a.m. 10 a.m. He is that angry before noon.
Dude, drink a coffee and just...
That's what it sounded like. It sounded like he needed a coffee.
He needed a coffee or something.
Yeah.
Holy crap.
So the Rose Festival Grand Floral Parade for flowers. It was a flower parade.
Dude.
Was just about to begin, and thousands of people had gathered along the 2-mile route. After crashing past the first set of Oregon Department of Transportation barricades, Metcham, the guy who did it, sent children and clowns playing on Wilder Street scurrying for cover with accompaniment of sirens and thumping bass from his own stereo. He faces nearly 40 criminal charges, including multiple counts of reckless driving and hit and run property damage, as well as 24 traffic violations. So this one specifically was from the OregonLive.com, which is where the story was whatever, but it was old. He was sentenced to 5 years in prison, 2 felony counts of unlawful use of a weapon, and 16 misdemeanor counts of recklessly endangering another person and reckless driving.
Does he never get his license again type of thing? Like, did they revoke his license?
I mean, I didn't read that far. I know they suspended his license at the very least. I don't know if he's just like, you can't drive.
He should forever go to driving classes.
You should forever have to take a taxi. I don't give a Get a scooter. Get a bike.
Yeah.
Get a bike. Take a bike.
That's what's crazy to me is because recently we were coming back from hanging out with family, and I needed to take a fat
dumper. Yeah.
And I was getting into a little moody, and you were driving. Yeah. And we pull up to where we're going back home, and the road's blocked off because we live next to a convention center. And
the road that's like goes straight to our home, like
was blocked off.
That we could take all the way straight, just go straight past the light, was blocked off because it's on the same street as the convention center.
So you're just like, well, I'm just gonna check if it's actually blocked off. And then you said that, and I was like thinking in my head, I'm like, I need. I was like, I could care less.
I was trying to
I know.
Because if it was, you'd have been like, oh, thank God.
This is what I'm just going through my mindset, because when it comes to guys like this, to where it's just like the street's blocked off, what the me in my head, I'm just like, I need to take a Sarah. I could care less if the road's blocked off or if we need to go somewhere else. I was like, you need to figure out a way to go. So then we come back, and then we start driving, and we go past another roundabout, and we pass another thing. And I'm like, you could have turned there. And you're like, yeah, I'm sorry, I could have. And then I'm sitting there thinking in my head.
You're sitting there clenching your cheeks. I'm sitting there,
I'm just like,
oh my God.
I was like, we're going to get there, Micah. It's okay. She's trying her hardest. I was like, you're going to be fine. But it's just in that case of that man, he gets to the first road that's blocked off, and he's like, this sucks.
Yeah, there was no, plan B. There was no nothing. Plan A, B, C, all the way to Z was smashing through those barricades.
That's what's crazy, too. It's just like, are you insane?
Yes.
Yeah, I mean,
the answer
you are.
Is yes.
But it's just like, in my instance, I had to poop. I wasn't obviously driving.
I was driving.
You were driving.
And I was trying my hardest.
I wasn't going to sit there and just be upset that, knowing that I was like, well, we could have turned right there. I was like, this road could be not blocked off. I was like, I'm in my own position because I decided not to take a shit earlier. So I was like, I'm not going to make it anyone else's problem but mine.
Well, you know why you didn't take a shit? Is because we were at my brother's house, and they were like, we really don't want you to shit in our brand new house. So you're like, we'll wait till we get home.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that's probably why.
Yeah.
But still, it's like watching the dash cam footage. He's on the phone, like he's talking to someone, and he's irate.
Such an
on
idiot.
The phone.
Such
he's like,
an idiot.
They've blocked it off. I've got to go somewhere, and then you can see him like cruising through this street through barricades. And then in the footage as well, there's like a motorcade, like a motocop on a motorcycle,
just in disbelief.
Hey, you gotta stop, like you gotta pull over or whatever. And he again just careens through barricades.
Insane.
It's insane. I don't think. I mean, I won't say what my other thing was, but I don't think I will ever reach the level of anger that specific men can reach. I don't think a woman anger is comparable to a man anger. Do you know
like
what I mean?
Getting an axe and chasing someone.
I mean, I'm not saying a woman can't do that. I'm just saying it's more often or more likely that a man would totally do it.
Was it a woman that was yelling at you at that one night and threw
yeah, it was
the
a
cup?
woman. She threw a cup.
She threw a cup.
She threw a cup at me. It had like water in it.
She got
If anything,
to
she gave me a car wash.
1%.
That's what I'm saying.
Of
like I don't.
what a man can get to.
Don't get me wrong. And I'll tell you firsthand. Women, angry. Men, 10 times. 10 times beyond that.
Yeah, I don't know.
I don't think I'll ever reach the level where I'm careening through barricades or whipping out an axe in my car. And I don't think you are either.
No.
That's what I'm saying. Specific men that are just like
there was a time I lived
prone to anger.
with my mom and my stepdad, and they had closed off like 90% of the roads that we were living next to for a marathon.
Oh, yeah.
And I had to go to work.
Yeah.
And I ended up calling to work, and I'm like, I'm going to be late.
Yeah.
Because every road is blocked off. I had to take like the back street of the back street of the back street road to get to work.
It was so backstreet, it was in sync.
It was crazy. And so
it's okay. I thought it was funny. Haha, yeah, good joke. Anyway, back to my story.
Anyways, me time.
Anyways, back to me.
Anyways, shut up.
Shut up, woman. Shut up, bitch. The man is talking. Shut up before I pull
Don't
this
make
axe.
Don't make me grab my axe. Shut up.
Shut up. Anyway, back to my story. Back to my story.
But it was just like, in that instance, I was like, hey, I'm not upset about this because, like, it's they had like put notifications up everywhere about it.
You knew it was gonna happen.
I knew it was gonna happen. I even left like reasonably early for work too, but it was just the fact that I didn't expect the back street of the back street of the back street to be adding on even more time.
Marathons are, hey, shocker, long.
Yeah.
So that's a lot of road than you do. It is weird though that they would put a marathon on like a really like common.
They do it like
residential
every
road.
year, I think, something like that.
Oy.
Yeah. So like, even with my stepdad who had to go to work like down the street, he had to take the same back streets I did, and it was even longer for him because of it was insane.
Yeah.
So but at that point I was just like, I knew of this. I'm not going to be upset about it. I was just upset because I'd get to a certain thing that I was like, okay, this is probably looking promising, and I'd get there and it's just like we have it blocked off for that. And I was like, no. So then I'd turn around and then I'd go and I'd see something else. I was like, this could be it. This is blocked off for the No.
You don't have to go 2 miles that way. And I'm like, I didn't want to.
Yeah. So.
All because people are running for fun?
Get out of here, dude.
For fun?
Go drive a car.
Get in a fucking car, bitch. Get in a car.
What an American thing to say, too.
Get in a car.
Go drive a car.
And that's why we have an obesity epidemic.
Mm-hmm.
Is because people are running and we're like,
car.
How dare you? Get in a car.
Go get a car.
Pedestrian.
What's in the box?
What's in the box? No, what's in the box?
What's in the box? I don't know why that reminded me of it.
I've never seen that movie.
It's so good.
Seven? Isn't it super brutal? Isn't it kind of like Saw?
It's pretty good. And not like Saw. It's just like it's pretty good. We're not going to get into it right now, but it's pretty good.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay.
I just threw him a thumbs up. I notoriously have not seen a lot of movies. So
this is true.
I'm like, I am.
But next episode we'll talk about HOAs because we're out of time for this one.
Oh yeah, we also got beef with our HOA because they're being not nice. For no reason.
HOAs.
For no reason.
None.
They're being not nice.
So, anyways, tune in. Oh, damn.
That was disgusting.
That last one was not good.
That was disgusting. Anyway, go
we almost went a whole episode without you not burping.
No, I've been doing it periodically.
Oh.
You were just talking.
I just never noticed.
You weren't paying attention.
Oh, when the woman's talking, I don't notice.
I was The woman was talking. I can't believe she dares speak in my presence. Better seen and not heard, am I right? That piece of ass won't stop talking.
Anyways, next episode, stay tuned.
I love and respect women.
I do.
I am a feminist, I swear.
Anyways, next episode, tune in for HOA drama.
I'm going to drive this bit home. Anyway, tune in next week when I teach everybody about women's rights.
Women's rights. And
how, I'm a
we
feminist.
learn the history
I love
of women's rights.
And I would never say that shit to a woman.
Don't forget to submit your pets to our Instagram. For your pet to become pet of the week. Pet. Anyways, go ahead and follow us on Instagram and subscribe to our channel and share it. Anyways, love you. Bye.
Well, you actually have to go up and hit that. You can't just say bye. You have to